Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Welcome, everyone, to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party. I'm Philip Gilfus, joined by Daniel Prue and Darren Moser. Gentlemen, how's your Star Trek June been so far?
That's right, it's June already. But been a good Star Trek time.
I finished in season 2 of Enterprise. So Earth was attacked, so we're doing that now. So there you go.
The Great Zindi War, Philip. It's got to start somehow. We're watching. We're almost done with Who Mourns for Morn, and it is by far my wife's favorite episode of Star Trek she's ever seen. She is laughing at every scene. She thinks it's the greatest thing. She thinks it's so silly. I also forgot that he's allegedly a prince, that he abdicated his throne and all of his money. It's just such a silly, funny episode, but it's a good one.
That is funny.
I need to watch it again. Watch Star Trek, so what have you been doing?
I know. I mean, I don't know. I've just been seeing lots of little clips and such, lots of love around the Enterprise G, and some people were doing some comparisons, and because they call it neo-constitutional, but it's like the size of an Excelsior class, from the olden days. Like, it's not matching. It's like JJ got a hold of it and was like, hey, let's make this a little bigger. But it's just been mostly seeing little clips and memes and such about Star Trek, and I'm just ready for some more new Trek. It's going to be good when we get next season.
Daniel, do you want to give us the latest Star Trek gaming news?
Oh yeah, that's right. There was a new game announced. Surprisingly, Star Trek. Shoot, I can't remember what it's called. I can.
It's not variations, but something like means there's a lot of or something. Or
it is Star Trek Infinite.
Yeah, see,
okay.
And it was
a crossover with Halo, and they board that Infinity Starship.
I don't think so, but
you have to gather a bunch of Star Trek stones and put it into a glove.
It was a CG trailer, so we didn't get much. It's just it shows it's a captain's log, and a Galaxy class flies by, and the captain log kind of fades away, and then there's a Borg cube, and we are the Borg, and blah blah blah. But at the end, the important part happens, and it sort of pans out, and you get to see a map of the Delta Quadrant. The entire galaxy, broken down into quadrants, and their factions. And the developer that's making the game is known for making strategy games. So is
it like an RTS, a real-time strategy?
Yeah, not a real-time strategy. With luck, it's what's called 4X, I think, 4E. I can't remember what it's called. 4X, because it's exploration, blah blah blah. You gather resources. It's similar to an RTS, but it's on a bigger scale, kind of a thing. But I'm very excited if it's that type of game. But we will see.
Watching the very beginning of the trailer, I'm like, oh no, they're doing fleet formations as they're approaching the Borg cube. That can't be good.
Right. So
they haven't said this, but it's been more reaction, which doesn't mean anything. But people have kept mentioning Birth of the Federation, which is one of my favorite Star Trek games. So I don't know if it'll be exactly like that, but at least that's what I'm hoping it'll be like, because that's one of my favorite Star Trek games.
We will find out more on Picard Day, apparently.
Which is coming up.
Yeah. So they said the full reveal will be that day. So we will know more.
Looks fun.
Yeah.
You got the four main races, Federation, Romulans, Klingons, and Cardassians, with a little Borg dashed in there for seasoning. And,
we'll see. I'm excited because this is like, in a year and a half, we got 3 high quality, relatively Star Trek games. This is
but
wild.
Different games, like not like it's the same.
What was the first one? Sorry, I know it's
the Prodigy game.
Okay, and I have to say, well, maybe not Prodigy. I mean, it's a good game, don't get me wrong, but as I finish the sentence, all three seem to be capture more of Star Trek, where it's not just shoot. No, I say that Prodigy is pretty shoot. But anyway, but it's kids, so it's cool shoot.
Puzzle as well, though.
Yeah, exactly. But they're both kind of centering it around. It's not a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter.
Right.
It's just we're going to actually try to encompass what Star Trek's about, with stories and
it's
exploration.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I feel like Infinite. I mean, we obviously haven't really seen much of it, but like it's like different games try to capture that different spirit, but they're all kind of shooting for the same marker. Comparatively to like Star Trek Online. Like Star Trek Online was definitely trying to be like Star Trek, but you also, like Philip said, like have a lot of shooting and a lot of like, which again, isn't not Star Trek, but Star Trek's this weird amalgamation of puzzle, exploration, diplomacy. And again, you're probably getting a little more of that in Star Trek. What's that? Resurgence. Yeah. Resurgence. Mm-hmm. And then but you have another kind of aspect of it in Infinite. So it's like, if you combine all these games together, I don't know. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying Star Trek, what is Star Trek is a very hard thing to capture in a single game.
Yeah.
Well, I think Star Trek Online, not to go off on a tangent, but like Star Trek Online, I mean, obviously there's a lot of work they put into it with the graphics, with the setting. I mean, it's a big galaxy that they've created, the storylines, bringing in, various actors to play roles or play offshoots of roles. But like, they do all this great stuff, and I don't want to belittle any of that work because it is a lot of stuff. But the mechanics are so, like, I could close my eyes and press spacebar for 30 minutes and I'll beat the mission. I mean, because it's just, when you get to the mechanics, you're either on the ground, shoot, or you're in the space, shoot. It's not more than that. So it's like the mechanics kind of suck. But there's so much that they put work into
diplomacy, like that one episode. Nope, shoot. But again, I don't know what the answer to that is, except for a whole different game.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it would be difficult to sort of condense all of this Star Trek experience into one game.
Yeah.
So I think more and I know you're more of an expert, Daniel, on what it's called, but like, oh God, what game am I playing? Old game, I can't remember. Elder Scrolls. What do you call that? Skyrim. Like a Skyrim open world, which I mean, I know that it's open world is what it's called, but like you could do that in Star Trek. Like, I mean, yes, there is fighting, but it just also talk to that person and conversation choice and that, and like they could do that, Yeah.
But. Well, I mean, yeah, like, so I would think, especially if you're talking about like, well, I'm going to just talk briefly about Star Trek Online since you brought it up, because I have been playing a boatload of it recently because I'm trying to finish it so I can just be done with it and uninstall it. I'm going through the Delta Quadrant story arc right now, and I am very shocked that they got everybody in that cast back for those missions except for I'm going to forget his name now, but except the Doctor.
Oh, Robert Picardo.
Oh, he's in. Oh, no. Does he not voice it? Because he's in.
He doesn't. It's definitely not his voice. Well, man, I could be wrong, I guess, but it does not sound anything like him. So there are missions where there's everybody. There's Tuvok and Janeway and Paris, and I guess B'Elanna's not in it. I guess I don't think
they're. I can't. I'm not gonna say definitively. I just can't remember.
I just don't remember seeing her. Yeah,
I remember Tuvok is a majority of that.
Yeah. But so they're all talking to each other, and then it's not Robert Picardo, and it's so sort of bizarre. Oh, Chakotay's not there.
Well, but nope. I was trying to think, like, I just played Jedi Survivor, and that game definitely feels like it's in the Star Wars world. You're bouncing between locations, and I was like, okay, what would it be like if we directly translated this to Star Trek, and you're playing one crew member, but then it's like, are you a captain? Are you an ensign? Are you it almost makes me think, like, again, this would probably be a bigger conversation than right now, but I feel like Lower Decks captures that Star Trek-ness. It's not a video game, but it is kind of like just enough meta to kind of, get that vibe. Like, I feel like some of their best episodes where all of Starfleet are working on full cylinders, like to do whatever the mission is, like that's that spirit I want in a game, but how to do that, I don't know.
Well, we got new Star Trek games, and we also have new Star Trek itself coming out this month with season 2 of Strange New Worlds coming out. Maybe even by the time
I thought there were only 10 Strange New Worlds, and we visited them all.
There's 9 Strange New Worlds with a 10th bonus one. So I thought before we all jump into season 2 in our own different ways, some getting it a day later because they live in a different country, for example. But I thought we would talk about season 1 of Strange New Worlds. And I thought I would kind of start with Daniel, who has probably most recently watched Strange New Worlds. Darren, of course, is the first
if he did his
watched
homework.
it.
If not, that's okay.
I watched it, and then Daniel is sort of newer to the series. So just general thoughts, Daniel. What do you think of Strange New Worlds since you just got a taste of it recently?
It is pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. I'll give it a B- Star Trek rating. It's pretty good.
Let me modify. Of live action 21st century Star Trek, where does it rate?
Okay, it would be the best. Definitely
now,
by far.
You may or may not count Enterprise in that. I'll let you decide. So,
interesting. That would be.
That's 21st century. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I would have to think about that. But
okay.
It's good. It's good. I like the crew. And I don't know. It's just something about it that's just like, it's like, are you really trying really hard to be Star Trek? Like really, really hard. And it's like, which is fine because that's what you want to do. But it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's modern and it's very different than Star Trek that we're sort of used to. And then obviously Discovery's a whole different thing because it's sort of trying to differentiate itself from newer Trek to be more like older Trek, which is fine. Again, it's fine. But it also makes it fit. It gives me this weird sort of like, I see why they did that. I see what they're going for. But it feels like they're trying to push it there instead of it just naturally being like a Star Trek product. I also get annoyed whenever they bring up Discovery stuff, like whenever they talk about time crystals and whenever.
I mean, there's a lot of time crystals in season 1.
and
who knew the Klingons had a monopoly on time crystals of all the races?
I think. Obviously it became a reality because of how good Pike was in Discovery. But it's as I'm watching it and I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, what is the point? Because it's like, why are we seeing Spock do things that I don't know. And then Kirk shows up and then I'm like, man, why are we doing this? I just don't know why we're doing it. It's fine. It's good. There's an episode or two here that are better than the others, but I'll say it's very consistent as well. It seems to be relatively good. There was no real bad episodes or anything like that. So, but it's fine. It's okay.
And then, excuse me, we'll go character by character, but just general thoughts. Darren, I know you saw it first. I don't know if you've rewatched it all recently, like I did. But
I've been kind of skimming through it. I haven't had time to completely rewatch, but yeah, I do remember from my first watch last year. Yeah, really, really enjoying it. I feel like, yeah, you're right, Daniel. They are double dead. They're like, okay, let's see, we're mix a little bit of this and a double helping of Star Trekness, because it is a reactionary show. It is so far as its creation. I mean, they're like, oh, people are liking or not liking this. Let's make this. But I've never. I mean, I do a Star Trek podcast, but even so,
not a big Trek fan though.
I don't care as much about, does this episode with Spock counter episode 5 of TOS or whatever? Like, I don't care. It's it's
anymore.
Not. We've
worn them down after 10 to 15 years.
And that's okay. I feel like I want new stories and I want, and it's a fun crew. It feels like the cast love hanging out with each other. Anson Mount is the anchor and just charting this course. And 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 some of the episodes are like really, really good. Like, I mean, I love the first episode. The first episode is great where like they like show them and the Enterprise just appears right there and they're like, we got the big stick. It's like, oh dang, like that feels like a Kirk moment. Obviously he's not Kirk, but he is. We learned that in the last episode.
Yeah, I know.
That's a very important lesson.
True.
He is not Kirk.
But I like, the aspect of, him knowing his future and kind of swirling around that. Like that is a major part of season 1. But I like the diverse cast of different aliens and different people and different, at first I was thinking, I want it to be like, oh, it's Spock, and we knew what we were going to get by the time the show aired, like, cause they were having, teasers and posters and whatnot. And so we knew it was Pike and Spock. And then it's like, oh, and Uhura. Oh, and you start to feel like you're going down the gravity well a little bit, but honestly, Cadet Uhura is an interesting take on it. And she's obviously competent, but you're getting more of those interpersonal conflicts and stuff like that, which is fun, is interesting to see. So overall, I really enjoyed Strange New Worlds. I'm really looking forward to season 2. I rank it right up there with Lower Decks in a different way. It's not nearly as meta as Lower Decks is, but there's room for lots of Star Trek. So, and it does feel kind of like the cycles that Star Trek went in the early thousands, where you had, TNG was the big one. And then, DS9 was like, oh, it's so different. It's on a station. And then, and you kind of like at the end of the cycle, you had Enterprise. We're like, okay, we got to go back to our roots. Like this feels like we had Discovery, and then, but then everything's getting really different. It's like, okay, let's go back to our roots and dip into that TOS well again.
And then they had the Kelvin verse that said, all right, let's go back to our roots. And then they said, you know what? Discovery, let's go back to our roots.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we've talked about this, the Power Rangers phenomenon,
But yeah, I just want to pick up, even though we do make fun of that, and Daniel, you say why I do it. But as I agree with y'all, it's fun. I mean, you want to be like, why are we doing another prequel? Why do we got to get stuck in TOS again? Why do we got to see the Enterprise again? There's so many other stories to tell, but it's a fun series. So it's like, okay, fine. You guys got me. I mean, it's a fun series. And it's funny, Daniel and Darren, you're both saying how shows are almost, whether it's true or whether it's just the way we perceive it, that they're counter reactions. Because as I watched all of Strange New Worlds this past few days, Strange, I like it. So it's going to sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not. It almost is borderline what I know some people, hand quotes, complain about these days with movies and TV. And it's often referred to, and I hate to use this word and keep you, the Marvelization, that it's all quippy and we all make smart remarks and, oh, that just happened. That and Strange Worlds is kind of like that. I'm not going to lie, where there's a lot of quippiness and it's almost a little too much, but it's still fun and it doesn't let ever go like jump the shark. So it's like, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. That's usually my reaction during it. But of course, I think, and this is my personal opinion, Discovery, where this is an exaggeration, where they never crack a smile, melodrama, where Strange New Worlds, it's fun. I mean, there's serious stuff that happens. Don't get me wrong. Like that episode 9, which is really the real series finale other than the bonus episode. I mean, that's like a true horror episode. Like it almost goes too much, in my opinion, like where you're like, it's basically aliens, retread. And it's pretty hardcore. I mean, that's a pretty hardcore episode. So that is not fun in any way. But anyway, I guess it's, as you say, it's fun characters, interesting characters. And I think one thing it's obvious, but I'll say it anyway, that they're doing this first season, and I hope they continue doing it. Every episode is, what character are we going to talk about today? So, it's basically the dartboard.
Which is the TNG style, of like, you have your
Michael
overall
Piller,
story, but this is, a Spock episode. This is a, Pike episode. And
Uhura episode.
Well, and you mentioned, Philip, like, the Discovery crew not cracking a smile, and we won't hag on, Discovery a ton right now, but I feel like I know the names, characteristics, and interconnectivity of this entire crew within one season, and I'm still struggling on that in Discovery, like 4 seasons in. Yeah. So I don't know if that's just how they tell the stories, and it's not like Discovery doesn't tell episode specific stories about characters. I don't know what it is. It's just, maybe because some of them are familiar, and it's not like I'm like, oh, who's this Spock person? Like, I already have some preconceived notion. We have number 1, and we have Nurse Chapel, and so there's a lot of, it's like what 50% are kind of reoccurring characters,
legacy characters.
Legacy characters, but that's okay. We're getting them with new people. I think Spock's portrayal is really good. I think we've moved past that. No one can play Spock but Nimoy. It's obviously going to be different, but I'd rather have it than have like, oh, Spock's always on another deck during this episode. Like, we just never see Spock. Like, that'd be silly.
Lower Decks Enterprise we could have had anyway. Spock's right there on that. This is just like a random question. Watching episode 10, I didn't look because I don't really care this much. It's just more of a fun question. Who voiced Scotty in episode 10? And is it someone they're going to bring back, or did they use a son? I don't know, but like that's curious. Like, who do you hire for Scotty? Because are you going to bring them back?
That's why that's what I assumed, that it was his son, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I was going to ask because when Darren was saying, "Oh, who is a neat take," I'm like, "Well, what do you think about their take on Scotty?" Because we get that one scene, which is so silly. Yeah. It's like it's just so silly. But I guess the idea is he going to be around for season 2? Is that the idea? I mean,
because that bonus season was like, I don't know, 10 years in the future. So
well, no, I understand that, but they are now missing a. Oh yeah, engineer.
No, it's Carol Kane is cast as.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay,
if you remember her, yeah.
In the trailer, we've seen that she is going to be the new.
Gotcha.
They're just going to go through a new one every year.
But they're just going to do okay.
It's Discovery captains, basically. It's Enterprise engineers.
Well, I was going to say, Enterprise. Yeah.
Defense against the dark arts teachers. That's fine. Yep.
Which I will say, like, I think she's going to play it well. Though I will miss. Was it Hemler?
Hammer.
Yeah,
I thought it was a Hammer, but it's not an A. I think it's an E. Hammer.
But I liked Hammer. It was a really interesting. We already knew of the Anir and stuff like that, but that was sad to see him go at the end of the season.
You got your antenna representation. But yeah, let's go through all the characters just one by one. That way we can kind of pierce the thoughts through. So let's go do the hairdo first. So Captain Pike.
Sorry, one last thing on Memory Alpha. It says unknown performer as Montgomery Scott.
Yeah.
So,
they know who it is.
They know, but they're not telling us.
I'll let you all talk about Captain Pike, but the only thing I'll say is obviously he's very informal. He runs an informal bridge because he's very first name. Like, Kirk, it's Mr. Chekhov, Mr. Sulu, where Pike is first name, Lon, Erica, that's on the bridge, and he's cooking for everyone. He's Ciscoing it up with the crew. But anyway, so we can go from there. So Darren, what's your Captain Pike take?
Yeah, I mean, it helps. We've already seen a lot of Pike in Discovery at this point, so we already kind of know a little bit about him. And I think they really navigate Pike's story very well, because it is a tricky line to walk where you have this character and I like the fact that, Pike has this conundrum of, I know my future. Do I change it? Do I not? And, relatively quickly, they kind of deal with that and then move on, which is kind of nice. I think if, not to say, again, negatively, but I think if other shows were doing this story, it would take like 2 seasons at least to get through that part of his arc. And it's like, nope, we're already done, and we can dip back into it. But we've closed the chapter of that. I'm like, and that's good. I don't want that to be every single episode. He has a vision of him seeing himself in a mirror and he's all melty. It's like, no, we don't need that all the time. But no, I love his portrayal. I think he hits it really well with that balance of, fatherliness and, humor, but he still is a Starfleet captain. He acts like a Starfleet captain. So I enjoy Pike. I think this is a great show.
What about you, Daniel? Is Captain Pike a sort of unique captain in the franchise?
I don't know. Yeah, probably. I was thinking about that because there's that scene when they tease him about being a Boy Scout. I'm like, I don't really see him as that though. It's kind of a weird thing to be in his file because I don't think that of him, but he definitely is more relaxed. I'll agree. Which I like. I wish they gave him something other than cooking though, because Cisco kind of already had the cooking thing. I mean, I know cooking's a pretty big deal, generally, so it's okay for two people to share.
Only the Cisco can cook.
I just wish that, but like, yeah, I love, I don't know why, I just love the fireplace in his quarters.
He does have a nice, a nice quarters.
Cool.
I wonder. I presumably yes, but if it's the same production designer as Discovery, because they love the open flames, also on Discovery.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
but no, yeah. he's good. I don't know that we needed a whole episode dedicated to the idea that he's very different from Kirk, because he's obviously very different from Kirk. But well, now we know that. So,
I mean, I think you kind of need that for everybody else, like Star Trek fans, like, who are already Star Trek fans. You don't need to hook in that way, but the general, populace, you need to kind of set that bar. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, when they were doing that episode, when the episode was starting, and I forgot because I had seen we briefly talked about it, and we had seen pictures of old Pike in the uniform, Admiral Pike,
in the maroon.
I forgot that even existed. But when he came in, they were setting up the episode. I was thinking, oh, we're going to do something. And then when it was the Romulans, I'm like, oh, they're going to do the episode, whatever it's called.
Balance of Terror.
Balance of Terror.
Yeah.
They're going to do Balance of Terror, but with Pike. And I'm like, that's cool.
Which is really interesting. I'm like, I thought that
cool. And then Kirk shows up, and I'm like, wait, why do this? No, just do it and show how different it is. I think that'd be way, way cooler, way more effective. But
true, that was off screen. Like, it's implied Balance of Terror happened with you because you made this change, and the future went all sideways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess without knowing how season 2 is, because we know Kirk is in season 2, we know it. Just from previews. So, or at least in one episode at the very least. It's like they don't trust themselves. It's like we got the Enterprise. Do we got to have Kirk? Like, you don't. And also, maybe because I obviously don't know enough about TV, I don't work in the business. Is it just like fear of like, we may only have 2 seasons, so if we got to get to Kirk, in other words, like, can they relax and be like, yeah, we're going to get to Kirk eventually because we have to if we want to wrap this bow at the end. But they don't have the 7-season guarantee like the old days, so it's like we live every season like it's your last, basically, because you never know when Paramount Plus is going to pull the plug. So I guess that's. But
we've only gotten so far. Only one Star Trek Paramount show has been canceled, and not even canceled. I guess you could just say sunset.
2.
2? What's the second?
Discovery's last season.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, I thought you meant Picard too.
Oh, no. Well, Picard was always intended to be short, right? I mean, ish. I don't think Patrick Stewart would have signed on for 7 more years. But
yeah, okay, yeah. Because and one thing I will say, and again, I don't mean to bash Discovery. Like, Pike is not the main character. I mean, he is, but he's the anchor. Like, because again, like, they're doing that story character by, so he's often the main character, but not always. And so I
there's
think
some episodes where he's not in it at all.
Yeah, so they really play that ensemble up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't mean to do this in order, but number 1. So Daniel, the 5 seconds we got in the cage, and now a little sprinkling in season 2 Discovery, not much, other than casting the actress. What do you think of number 1?
She's good. I feel like she's not in it a lot. There's no number 1 episode, right? Was there? Or maybe I skipped it or missed it.
I mean, we're probably going to get it for the first episode of the next season. But,
that's right, because of what happens at the end. Yeah.
But
I feel like there's not she's not she's present a lot, but she's just not in it a lot. But it's I mean, she's good. I mean, of course, and it feels like they have a good natural sort of chemistry together, her and Pike. So yeah, I like it. Oh, she sang in the Turbolift with Spock, right?
What do you call it? Short Trek.
Short Trek? Was that Short Trek? Okay.
Yeah, with Ensign Spock.
Oh, so it was earlier than this. Okay. All right.
Yeah, when you first reported on the Enterprise.
Yeah. Yeah, but she's good. I like her a lot.
What about you, Darren?
I mean, we kind of have, I guess, her episode, quote unquote, would be the third episode, Ghost of Illyria, where that's revealed that she's genetically engineered, and that's what her people do to survive on these worlds. So it's like good intention, but still afoul of Federation law. So that's when I think Pike finds out that she is engineered, and he keeps that secret. So who knows if that'll come back to bite him.
It will.
But
I see what you're saying. Come back to bite him.
Yeah. So I'd say that would be like, but I think you guys kind of hit on a bigger point, which isn't a bad thing, but more of a clarification, where even with episodes that are character focused, it's still an ensemble. Like, it's not like number one goes into a pit and it's just her surviving for 45 minutes. There's obviously the whole crew, and we get a lot of give and take, and they're investing their minutes wisely with the entire crew. You get a lot of everybody. But no, I like number one. I think, I mean, again, you get the benefit. I'm sure she's a great character to write for because she has the recognizability of the cage, but basically a blank slate. So you can do whatever you want.
All you have, and which they've done, is that which I mean, this is obviously very sexist 60s, but she's like very frigid and logical.
Right.
I mean, that was sort of like how they did it. Like she's, Pike in the cage. This is the 60s. It's like, oh, you're a walking computer. I didn't even notice you were a woman. We don't do that now. But anyway, that's sort of like, she's supposed to be sort of a no nonsense. And we do get Where Fun Goes to Die. We get that B story with her and Lon doing the Enterprise bingo.
Right. Yeah. And those are fun little moments. And, I love the one, which is the one, the Elysian Kingdom, the everybody's, fantasy character episode, which is fun. I mean, again, weird stuff happens in Star Trek, guys. But overall, I really like her character, and I can't wait to see more.
So, Daniel, I want to go to you because you obviously were concerned. I had great concerns about this character. Let's talk about the security chief. Salon Noonien Singh.
Oh,
so
God.
You were not looking forward to seeing her.
You were ready to throw the whole show out with just
I forgot how annoyed I
name.
am with it. So I skipped one or two episodes on the rewatch because I made it to like 4 or 5 on my initial time through, and then I remembered that I got annoyed by that. And what happens? It just says I can't remember. What's the revelation here?
I mean, there's no revelation.
There's no.
She's her ancestor.
She's related, and some people give
it's
her
just
side
like you were
eye.
named John Hitler. And
It's basically that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, is that a family name? Yes, it is.
I just don't.
But I love. Sorry, Dana, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do love the premise that like John Hitler. What are you going to do? That's just like, you could rename yourself. It's very easy. You had a choice.
Like,
it wasn't
before him, we had a proud family of Hitlers. But
we're not going to rename it just because of the one.
We're not going to change. Yeah.
I mean,
just one bad apple.
Yeah.
The one that murdered all those people. That's fine. You don't worry about it.
And I'm aware that we are a bunch of white Americans talking, so I don't know, like, the Singh, I know is a very common last name. Noonien Singh, I don't know if that's as common in real India or Southeast Asia. So if it is, we apologize, but it just seems like once that name combination got used.
Yeah. Other than that glaringly annoying silliness, the character is fine.
She's got an interesting backstory with the Gorn. Like, I kind of like one of our characters being connected to this kind of new threat. And not that the Gorn are new, but just we've never really explored them in this way. Like, they're terrifying. Like they are really creepy.
It's almost like, and this, I don't mean this as a complaint. It's almost like a better Yar. Like, we want a traumatized, we're going to make her a woman security, but, you know, I don't know if the sex matters. We're going to make her a traumatized background and then make this person the security chief. And then that's kind of their thing of where they go. I mean, and so instead of having
that man, you're kind of right. It is a kind of better, yeah, or maybe what Yar would have been if she had lived more than half a season. But
well, so she got more episodes than Lon did, so I don't know at this point.
She talks all about that, you know, obviously with her parents and stuff, and in the beginning, the first episode, I think, or the second episode, whichever it is, and then we get the Gorn episode at the end. I honestly thought she was going to be more. You say she's traumatized, and of course you knew would be, but like she's like, I thought, you know, it was going to be one of those things where like it shuts her down completely or whatever, but she kind of just goes in there and handles it and like deals with it and is fine pretty much.
Well, we get 2 Gorn episodes to be sure.
We do.
So she did freeze, or she says she froze that one time when the Gorn ship was attacking.
Okay.
And she was like, "Oh, I froze." But yeah. But yeah, what do you? And this is just a slight breaking point. I'm not saying every Star Trek series does this, but to the extent that Star Trek series establish this is our baddie. So like TOS, Klingons. TNG started with the Ferengi. DS9, Cardassians. Voyager started, Kazon. And so like Strange New Worlds has said, the Gorn, they are the pinnacle of bad guys, and which they certainly show themselves to be. So what do you think of that? It's not the Klingons, because we obviously did that with Discovery. Having the Gorn now as sort of the ultimate baddies for this season.
It's just kind of silly to me. I mean, I get the sort of appeal, right? Because everybody knows the Gorn episode, but the Gorn episode is so campy and fun, you know. Excuse me, it's really difficult to reconcile those two different things, you know what I mean? And even in Star Trek, it's not consistent. Like even when we went back to the Gorn in Enterprise, even when we went back to the Gorn in well, this was in the game, but in the 2009 game, Star Trek has always portrayed them differently, so which is fine. So I'm not fine with them. I'm not upset about them reinventing.
So, Dan, you were saying the real internet controversy is not that you keep changing the Klingons; they keep changing the Gorn. Where's my original 1960s man, clearly in a costume Gorn?
Swing those arms.
But yeah, I like Lon. You know, I think it was one of the things like, why? Other than I guess they were trying to set up, which it didn't really happen. Like, oh, if Lon has this past, then when she finds out that her friend Una is genetically engineered, then conflict. Oh, I admired you, but now I think you're. But
conflict.
But it was like, I forgive you. Like it wasn't like, because you would think that's why they'd set it up, right? And then like, no, it's cool.
That's all good. Yeah.
I mean, I think, and they'll, you know, I think they're going to use this going forward. You know, you have the genetic engineering and the eugenics wars are both, you know, they're things that are established in Star Trek about being bad, but I think they're finding ways to use them as parallels for modern, like bigotry and hatred in a Star Trek way, that's like that's core Star Trek right there. So,
I agree. Like, and I'm not trying to get heavy, but like, what is the modern parallel? Like, I'm trying to think. I agree that there's something there, but I'm like, well, I'm trying to figure out what it's the analogy for, like something that clearly was bad once, but doesn't mean it has to be bad forever. And I'm like, I don't know.
I think it's for Non. I think it's less about. It's more about self-acceptance for her. It's like, this doesn't define me. I am who I am. And just because, you know, kind of like everybody else needs to kind of get over this, but in a better way. But
my name's John Hitler, guys. Get over it.
But yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see just how that all comes together.
It is I don't know. I'm not too good. We could just do a whole episode about genetic engineering because it is several hundred years. I mean, 200 years, 250. I don't know. You do the math for me. So, and we really know what Khan did. Like, not really. Like, we know he was genetically engineered and tried to take over, but like, we don't know what form that took. Like, was he killing millions of people?
Well, and he obviously was making more genetically engineered people because that's where his crew in Wrath of Khan, like, and then they all got locked away in the Botany Bay. Yeah. So
Botany Bay. Oh Botany no. Bay.
But no, I think
it's hard to know the details of like why should we? Because it also like if you watch Spacey, you'll be like like it's such a weird episode. Not that I watched it recently, because it's like Kirk is reading the file, like, oh man, Khan is awesome. Hey, like, oh, I mean, yeah, no, bad, but like, mad respect, bro. Like it comes across as that, like, clearly bad, but we think it's kind of cool too. And so I'm like, it would kind of been too bad if that's how they're treating Khan.
Well, it's like look how we would look at, I don't know. Yeah, like somebody else, like Alexander the Great, right? Like that's, you know, like a great
leader, a lot of
like
people,
Caesar.
but...
Like, oh my gosh, you're a historical figure. You did terrible things, but you still are Caesar.
But you're so far removed from the actual reality
That's what
of it.
I'm saying,
it is impressive in a way. So yeah.
So, but yeah, I liked Lon. Interesting choice. What do you all think of this choice that at episode 9 the character is going to hand quote leave? So it's like, okay. Now, we know she is in season 2. For at least one episode. She's in an episode with Kirk. Apparently, they go back in time. I don't know. But anyways, that's at least one episode. I don't know if she's in the whole season. But, like, what do you think that choice of, like, this character's going to leave or not? Like, well, then what are we doing? What, was she leaving? Is she not leaving? Are we just opening up story possibilities? What do you think of that decision to have the character leave?
There's going to be something that brings her back in. I'm not sure. I don't know where it's going, you know, but it's going to be one of those get the band back together things. Maybe that's what it is. Like, it's going to be 6 months when season 2 starts and everybody's all scattered to the winds. That's kind of how season 1 started too. Anyways, like, he wasn't on the ship or anything. So maybe that. I don't know.
Cool. Going in random order, just off the top of my head. Let's go. Speaking of who left, let's go with Hemmer. Darren, what do you think of Hemmer?
Oh, I loved Hemmer. I think his portrayal was really interesting. I think, you know, I think not only the fact that he's a blind character, but was played by a blind actor, which, you know, it kind of dips into that Discovery did play, you know, where you had an actor with disabilities as well. And he was just, I loved his humor. I had this right mix of like gruff Oscar the Grouch, but also like cares about people, but I'm not going to tell you I care about people. And it's just so funny. Again, you know, in the magical realm episode is always just so funny where he's like, what, I have to do a spell. Got to do it like this. And, you know, say the magic word.
Hold on.
Hold on. Yeah. But no, I was sad though that I don't know. I'd be curious. Like, do we know why? Did the actor just only sign on for one season, or were they like, hey buddy, we're going to bring you in but you're going to be the sacrificial lamb at the end of the season to tug at the heartstrings? Like, I don't know. Like,
there is a reason, Darren.
Okay.
It's so Uhura could learn the lesson of why she belongs on the Enterprise.
So it's the rare male fridging that we don't often get.
Yeah, okay.
A female.
I mean,
I thought it was lame. Yeah,
I do think they are going to. I mean, while I am sad that the character is gone, I do feel like they are going to use that as a lesson and continue to have that effect, Uhura. You know, because why not? Like, if that's such a powerful dose of, you know, not humility, but yeah. So
direction.
Anyway,
she was looking for direction.
But it's still, I guess it's not terrible in the fact that could have been the plan from the very beginning. Like, this is the era of we planned out the season from the get-go for 10 episodes, it's not going to be like, and you know
Not
what?
really.
Let's just kill off this person. So now there could have been other reasons in the real world. I don't know, but I, we'll miss him. I think Carol will do a great job in season 2, but maybe we will get a revolving door of chief engineers until
It'd be fun if she just
eventually
last one episode.
Mr. Scott gets there.
Like with cast Carol Kane, like she's gone by the end of the episode. It's like Daniel, you'd be more familiar. It's the new office bosses.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, Daniel, what'd you think of our chief engineer? I mean, I was kind of sad we never had a Hammer episode.
Yeah.
I mean, he made himself known when he knew he was on. So, I mean, I guess that's a sign of a good character. But, like, there was never... Because also would have been seen, like, how engineering has been modified so he can use it,
Right. Yeah, no, I thought he it's specifically in the fantasy episode. I thought he was great. He was really, really funny. And he was good. I just, I felt like the death was kind of unwarranted. But whatever. That's fine.
Unwarranted? How do you define unwarranted?
Yeah.
What about Darren? What do you think of Dr. I'm going to say this wrong. Mbenga. I know. How am I saying that wrong? I've said it every time. Anyway, yes. What do you think of the Doctor?
Yeah. No. I remember, I think when it was first airing, I mixed up this character with the Cage Doctor, because it's not the Cage Doctor.
Dr. Boyce.
Yeah. I'm sorry, not all black doctors are the same. I know that. I'm just saying.
It's clearly a white doctor, but anyway. Yeah.
Anyway, but I was thinking that, no, I like his, and again, I feel like they hit a good balance where, he has his arc, he has his secret, he has the, all these stuff with his daughter, but then it gets resolved in a couple of episodes and we move on. It's great. It's not like, let's take 3 seasons to get this secret out. It's like, no. And there might be more secrets later on. That's okay. So I really applaud, Stranger Worlds for just how it's handling these drama. And that's okay. We want that conflict. We want that intrigue, but we don't want it for like 20 episodes. Like that's way too long.
I don't know. I almost felt like it was too quickly. And I don't know, Danny, what you think. I thought it was too quickly resolved. I was like, you could do it for another season. Like, I'm not going to be angry because it's almost like, that's why I'm out here. And then like 2 episodes in, he which I watched it again. It wasn't as bad as I remembered, but like the kid dies episode. I was like, oh, really? Okay. But anyway, he's like, oh, now I have at least a theory and I can build from this maybe. And then it's like 2 episodes later, like, no, it's done. She's good now. And I'm like, well, I could have gone a couple more episodes.
She became a space cloud and moved away.
So that episode caught me off guard. I really liked it. At first I thought it was going to be dumb, but I really enjoyed it. And was emotional at the end. But that being said, the scene where adult her shows up and says, you made the exact right decision. I'm happy. Nothing could have ever been better is like, and I'm giving you permission to now live like by yourself and on your own. And I was just like, this is too much. Like, this is too much. It's a little perfect. It's a little bow on top of a cherry on some whipped cream. It's like, it's just too much. Just let a little bit breathe, maybe she comes back.
Like future Alexander coming back to Worf and saying, you know what? I'm just going to disappear and go live with the monks. Don't even think about me anymore. It was dumb to bring me on the Enterprise. I am gone now. Like, it's kind of like
good dad.
Good dad. Ted, I was proud to be your son, and then he like fades away. And then Worf's just like smiling and he's like, I am not a father anymore.
Well, yes. This is kind of similar to what happens to Wesley in a way, right? Where he goes away with magic space aliens to become light. But they don't have that scene, obviously, in TNG. There's no scene of Wesley saying, thanks a lot, Picard, Captain Picard. You're the best.
I love how you're not even going to his mom directly.
I know.
You're right to Picard.
But it was just too neat. It was an emotional scene, and it was nice, and it was sweet, and it was happy, which is great. but it was just so perfect and so like, now you never ever have to worry or think about me as a character anymore, and now you can start as a blank slate for season 2 with the Doctor. I don't know what they're going to do, but
like, I mean, and I don't know, this is me backseat writing. If you're going to do that, which again, I agree, there's nothing wrong with letting it be ambiguous. And we never know what happened, but we think he did the right thing. Seems like he did the right thing, but you let it breathe, and then maybe we find out season 2. You don't have to make a meal of it, but he finds out. But like, if you're gonna do right away, don't do it right away. Like, have a scene later. So like, she goes there, and then the next scene is him in the office. Number 1 says, "How you doing?" Da da da. And he leaves, and you think it's going to end, and then she comes back and say, "Oh, okay." So you've let her breathe for a second, let the ambiguity breathe for a second, not just be like,
"That's true." The way it is, like, she disappears, and it's like, "And I've now aged and lived several of your lifetimes. I am A-okay, Father." It's like, oh, okay. It's been like 5 seconds here.
I know, like, you didn't have time to miss her.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And also, I'm not saying she's not going to be fine, but like, she has one friend. I feel like she's not going to be like, she was really happy when she came back. Like, things are great. I'm like, does it have a gun to your head? Are you a hostage? Like, she should have no social skills.
Blink twice if you need help.
Sure. I mean, our cloud doesn't move anywhere, but this is a nice corner of space you've left me in, Father. It's great.
Like, I would need like a little like, I've traveled in ways you can't imagine. Like, it's just you and the cloud, right. Deborah, I think, for like, I don't know, if we, by her age, 20 years at least? Okay. If you're having fun, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. But don't worry, guys. They wrapped up that story plot. We're wrapped up. We're done.
Yeah, and I go back and forth. And again, I don't know if they were scared when they did this series. Like, the fans wanted it, but we don't know if it's going to be like, just because fans want it, which is true, doesn't mean it'll actually succeed, which is true. And so they're like, we'll try this first season. Maybe that's all we'll get. And and we'll end on some cliffhanger, but we'll never know. But like, I don't know, guys. I think you probably knew you were going to have at least more than one season.
So building it in so far as if this is all we get, we're not setting it up like, we can't really tell these types of stories without 2 seasons. So we're just going to tell type 1 season stories.
And then there's also, and I know people, I already know the response, so I'll already tell you, I'm going to complain and I'll tell you the response I'll get, which I don't believe in. So with M'Benga, I'm not saying there's not a way for this to happen, but the question is, once you make him the chief medical officer, we see him in TOS. I mean, he's like the Dr. Solar of TOS. We see him like once or twice. He's not the chief medical officer in TOS. So something happened. Now you can be like, any doctor comes aboard and they just switch being the CMO. I'm like, okay, you can believe that. I think something happened where he got demoted. So, I mean, which could happen, whatever. But anyway, that's, I'm waiting for that penny to drop is what I'm saying with M'Benga.
Well, and then in, the medical field, we have Christine Chappell, again, another a character we've seen quite a bit in TOS. Definitely not a minor, tiny bit. But yeah, I think this is a really interesting, because again, you get a major age shift. So it's like the kind of with Uhura, you have like this very young crew. But
young, skinny, and sexy crew. Oh yeah.
And like, it's like, where's that? What do they call it? The decontamination gel.
Yeah,
there's no decontamination gel scenes.
The first episode 1, they were doing a little more sexy trick because you got both naked Pike and naked Spock basically in that first episode. I'm like, okay, guys, all right. I mean, it's a little more, if I can say this. It's both men. I mean, yeah, I think you get the naked captain at the beginning, but you don't see much of it. But anyway, so it's like, it's the guys for a change. But it's also like, wasn't as bad, or as, what's the word I'm looking for, as over the top as Enterprise tried to do with the decon chamber. Yeah, so it's just like, you get to see, shirtless Pike and shirtless Spock. But then they don't do that for any other. I mean, there's a Spike or Spock. We'll get to him when we get to Spock and Praying. They're always a little hot and heavy anytime they're in a scene. But for the most part, it's
my
not
favorite
sexy
line
Trek.
of all that is like, "Are you naked, Spock?" He's about to be, Jim. It's like, whoa, okay. We're very open in our relationship.
I forgive him. It was the first episode. I'm like, all right. But they didn't do that the whole series, so it's fine.
No, but no, I like Christine. I think it's a fun, we know she's going to stick around on the Enterprise a lot, or at least come back or whatever, have a lot of her career on this ship. But yeah, but we really don't know anything about her. So it's kind of a blank slate to learn and to see, where it's all going to go.
So the only thing, because I know you're not a big TOS watcher, so you may know this, Aaron, or you may not. So just as a reminder, we know one thing about her that, now, I mean, they could, of course, ignore canon if they want to, whatever. They're writing the show.
No, they would never.
We know she gets engaged to Roger. Can't remember his name. So that has to happen. That was the first season TOS episode. So we know eventually that has to happen, theoretically. I like how they basically do show you why she has a crush on Spock. I thought they were going to kiss that at one episode. Well, not the one where they actually kiss, but the one. Yeah. So Daniel, I want your thoughts, but not that I have anything against the actors or the character, but I was going in they're making Nurse Chapel fun and sexy. I'm like, which is not what I really want for in Trek. I'm like, okay, whatever. She is growing on me, and I don't like it. But she's very cool with Spock. It's a very natural relationship. It's not like they're doing something crazy. It's all it all makes sense in what's happening. And it's very interesting with how they're going with her. The actress's natural tattoos are on display. I don't try to change the actress for the character. I thought that's very interesting. So yeah, I do like Nurse Chapel, and not that it's just I don't know, really. Okay, fine, sure.
Yeah, she's not the same. It's definitely not the same character as what we see later on, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But she's cutesy and silly, and I get the character they're going for, and it's fine. It works for the show, so it's fine.
All right, well, let's get into all the Spock of it all. I'll say, and I'm interested in what y'all have to say. As I watch it, this is where my mind is. Yes, the cage. This is not a complaint. I'm sorry. I don't want my tone to be misinterpreted. So, yes, the cage. We got laughing Spock. Okay, so that's what they're going with. And then you can argue that the Spock we see in season 1, man, that's not really TOS Spock. But I think, arguably, there's enough time that there's something happened. And that's where we get the Spock in TOS, who is a lot more serious and a lot more Vulcan and a lot more closed off, who in season 1, as Strange New Worlds, is pretty open. He's talking about his romance with Chapel in the hallway. That would not happen. And so I'm hand quoting. I'm fine with everything they're doing, because if they're building up to something happens to Spock where he shuts it all down. So anyway, that's my thoughts. But Daniel, I know you're a big Spocko.
I don't think he's done the Culinar yet.
No, he doesn't do that till motion picture. So
yeah. He never even completed it there, did he?
No, he didn't. Because V'ger showed up and he's like, hang on, put a pin in this. I got to go check this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's never canonically done it, so I don't. That can't be the case. So, it's whatever. It's just not the same character. It's just not. So you just kind of have to say, okay, that's fine. It's close enough. It's just when there's that whole episode with the lady pirate. And it's she's you can be, you don't have to be Vulcan or human. You can just be Spock. And I'm like, he can't learn these lessons.
Yeah. He's I wrote a book called I Am Not Spock.
He just can't go through these experiences and have that knowledge. And you can't have adventures like that because we see him struggle with that. You can, I guess, but he can't learn that lesson. So we just see him struggling with that later on. So it's I don't know. It's like if we went to had a prequel series set on whatever Data, the ship that Data was on before he was on the Enterprise, for 20 years or whatever. And then he's never used, he doesn't understand what Chinese finger traps do. And he can't, and I don't understand what contractions, how it's you can't go through 20 years of something and not learn anything from it. So you can't be on the ship for 15 years. And then it's just, I don't know. It's just, that's what struggles in my head about Spock. It's just I don't know how you build up to the character where we first see him, and it's just because he's not that person. That's all I'm saying.
Because obviously something happens with him into praying. where he shuts that down. So I don't know, Darren, any thoughts? Because like they're building like they're very hot and heavy into each other, whereas by Amok Time, there's like they are not cool at all, and she ends up going with another guy.
Right. Yeah. No, I think, and you're totally right, Daniel. I try to think of it more like Zachary Quinto Spock. Like Zachary Quinto Spock is a different take on the character. Obviously, doesn't have nearly as much minutes of screen time in total to develop this character as Ethan Peck does. But yeah, in a way, it's almost easier to look at it as anytime you have a different actor playing a character, it's a slightly different universe. Like it's never, because of the way of narrative storytelling, like there's never going to be a complete, because they're not telling it in chronological order. It's never going to match up fully. But I don't think that personally makes me not enjoy this portrayal of Spock. I think I every time he shows emotion or whatever, I don't think like, oh my gosh, Leonard Nimoy would never do that, and you're ruining Star Trek and blah blah. Like, yeah, they got to walk a line, like obviously, but I think Ethan does a good job, and but yeah, oh man, I think you really hit on it though about the lessons learned. I think that's really an interesting thing for all the characters. I mean, for like Uhura and some others, it's different because she's a cadet. Like she is learning those lessons. But yeah, for Spock, yeah, what is that difference between Lieutenant Spock and Commander Spock? How does he? Because again, is it what, like 5-6 years? It's not a ton of time.
I'm going to keep calling it bonus episode. Even in the bonus episode, I think that Commander Spock acts differently. I mean, he's very more Vulcan.
Right.
He's still compassionate, or he still has a relationship with Pike, you can tell. But of course, in that, it's a different time period. But he still is a little more direct than we see him being casual in Strange New Worlds. So that's why I'm saying I'm allowing it. Trust the writers, right, Daniel? I'm like,
definitely.
I feel like that has to be a thing, that before the series ends, they're going to build to something happens to Spock, and I don't know what it is, but something.
Well, he can't. Maybe he'll lose his other sister in a terrible tragedy.
What'd you think of the son of Sarek?
I thought it was. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Like we get to see the back of his mullet, and it's like. I'm like, why does he have the same haircut from 40 years later? Oh, whatever. I don't care. It was like one of those moments, like in the Marvel shows where they're teasing like a villain for like, so I don't know if they're going to bring him back or whatever. Does Spock mention in Star Trek 5? Like, does he say, I haven't talked to my brother in a long time, but does he even say anything about it?
I don't think he says anything like that. He just, Kirk didn't know about him.
Yeah. Okay. So whatever.
Yeah, but fine. Kirk didn't even know Sarek was his dad, so like
that's true. That's fair. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it was silly, but okay, fine. If you want to bring him back as a villain in season 2 or whatever, or I guess an antagonist, not a villain, but maybe you get to learn about the teachings that he follows and all that sort of stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah,
what about?
Go ahead. I was going to say, go ahead.
Well, I was going to go into a different character, but if you want to say more,
that episode with the lady pirate. Sorry, I don't know episode titles because unless they flash them on screen, but they actually do, don't they? Anyway, with the lady, it's not a bad episode, but it is just. And I remember watching the same reaction when I originally watched it. Like she gets so much for wanting so little. Like she's like, oh, I didn't mean to take over the ship. Well, now I got control of the ship, and now. Now I just want this guy released and I'll give you back everything. I'm like, oh, we could just take the ship. I don't know. It seems to me, just attack them. And, now I'm not trying because like TOS people took over the ship all the time. I'm not arguing that point. But anyway, it seemed very odd, and it's just a very, not an odd character because I don't want to say it that way. It was very, I'll say a modern character. And what I'm trying to say, the way like is very like the attitude. I'm like, okay, can we ground it a little bit? Like I get it, but like act normal. Or by normal, I mean, like, it's just like, you can tell, like, she's just having a good time with this role of being the villain, Lady Pirate. I'm like, all right.
I actually liked her character up until she became the villain. Before the reveal,
very psychologically. Okay, but
like, because when she's like, "Oh, my husband was a Vulcan" or whatever, and then
she's like, "Oh, I made Spock cry." I'm like, all right. We get it. But Darren, we've been going a while, so we'll try to wrap it up here. But let's talk about Cadet Uhura. What do we think of?
Oh, I was going to jump to Ortega's, but
Uhura has way more episodes than Ortega.
That's true.
Real quick, just about this character, Philip. You mentioned that Strange New Worlds does fall prey to the quippiness, and that is this character. That's her entire defining characteristic. Is she likes to be smarmy on the bridge, and say little snarks. That's all I have to say. It made me think of her when you said quips. I'm like, oh, that's the lady that sits in the front with the hair. That's her character. So.
What's your take on Lieutenant Quippy?
Yeah, no, I mean, she's kind of the most meta of all the characters, where she kind of like has that I'm in space flying a spaceship. Like, that's kind of cool. It's like, yeah, but like, would it be as cool if you were like in our time or your time, But no, I like her character. I like, she's definitely not a main character as far as story wise. Like we're getting parts of her character and her story and whatnot, but we have yet to be like, here's all your stuff. But no, I like Ortega's. There's not a lot to say, but I enjoy it. Yeah. And it's also, she's a great part of the camaraderie of these young ensigns and lieutenant, these lower officers. Like, they're having fun. They're having drinks at the bar. They're doing all this cool stuff. Like, that's fun. That's fun to see.
And I don't begrudge giving actors lines, but like, and I'm blanking on her name, but that's just my fault. They're doing a good job also with Ensign. I can't remember her name, who's on the helm, or is on the navigator. I guess this would be 23rd century. So you have, why am I blanking on everyone's name? You have Lieutenant Hare, not her name, and then you have Ensign Navigator. But like, I think rewatching, I'm like, why are they in the main meetings? Like, I mean, again, I don't begrudge anyone giving lines and FaceTime, but like, in reality, we don't need the helmsman.
Like, Chekhov wasn't in the main meetings.
No.
Like,
not unless he was playing like science officer or something, because of Spock back up. But yeah, it's just like, Sulu was not in many meetings, I think, if you'll watch. But anyway, that's nothing against the cat. Just like, it's funny. All right. But yeah, what about her? Because to me, I think, and maybe this is just me, I feel like they'll lean on Uhura in season one. Like, she probably has, out of Pike, the most story, which is fine. But I was just like, that was interesting.
I mean, it makes sense. Her, Spock, and Pike are kind of the main three of known characters. Pike because he's a captain. I mean, he's going to have a certain amount of story. But no, I think... Yeah, I mean, they said it right up at the beginning where she's on her first away mission and, all this stuff. And she's competent. Like, I love that it's never like, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't belong here. It's like, no, she's competent, but it's still like, you're an ensign. You act like or a cadet. Yeah. You're a cadet. You still act like a cadet because you don't have that experience, and that cannot be learned. It has to be earned.
She knows 47 languages, Darren. She's very competent.
In the real life Star Trek, which I know doesn't exist, I couldn't figure out if this made sense or not that you'd let the cadet fire phasers. I get at some point in their time in life, you have to let them fire the phasers. I just like, I don't know if I'm going to let the cadet fire that, because she ended up doing it wrong. And I was like, maybe we should just have ensigns do this. And I mean, at a certain level.
For insurance purposes, at least. Yeah, definitely.
Now, who do you think had the better rotation through the different departments? Uhura or Rutherford? Who?
Definitely Rutherford. Sorry.
That was one of the best episodes of Lower Decks. Right? It was like, well, what if I want to do this? Like, that is great. Go and be your best self. Man. And we're all like, oh man, this is hilarious. It's like not like any job that we would have nowadays.
I do love that as a concept, because obviously she's clearly a linguist. But they're like, yeah, okay, but if you're a cadet doing your starship rotation, you're going to do everything. And I actually like that as a concept because it's a little like, yeah, that's what you think you want, but you don't know until you've seen everything.
Yeah, but you can't have like one division get blown out of an airlock and like, well, the ship can't go now because none of us know how that part of the ship works. It's like,
it's good to expose there could be an emergency and somebody else has to do the thing. So it makes total sense.
So it does make me
Edson, take over that console and fire phasers. Is that the red button or the blue button?
So it does make me wonder why, blanking on name, Discovery. Cadet Tilly. She stayed in that one place the whole time. Like that would have been interesting to see her have to rotate everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, doing security one day or something.
I mean, I think and maybe it changed over seasons. I don't know. It feels like Discovery's narrative structure is just different in that.
You are in the spore drive room or with Michael. Those are the only two scenes.
That's the thing, though. It's like every story, even stories that focus on other characters, focus on Michael. Like she sucks up so much of the air of every plot that you can't really spend a lot of time with other characters. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking again, not to go into because the more I saw Cadet Uhura, it made me think about Cadet Tilly, and I was like, because I mean, ostensibly they're only a year. Well, they're contemporaneous. I was going to say they're years apart. They're the same year. It's the same year. They could have gone. They went to the academy together. Tilly and Uhura know each other.
Did. Yeah.
They know each other.
Uhura gave Tilly Silly Tilly nickname. Like probably not.
And so it just made me think when Tilly's, I want to be a captain. The more I thought about it, I'm like, well, why? And I'm not saying that as a complaint, but I'm like, why do you want to be like? Is you want to be a man? Like you think you have those skills, or you? Like, where's this coming from?
Do you always feel like in your group of friends, you were the one that had the best leadership? Like, why? And that's a great goal, but it doesn't come out of nowhere. You don't say like, I'm happy doing this. And you know what? Captain someday, it's like, okay.
Yeah. We don't begrudge her ambitions, but I never did get the why. I mean, other than like, oh, no one thinks I can do it and I want to prove myself, but that's a different thing. I mean,
we know Uhura becomes a captain in Picard. They point out in one of those plaques, I think, that she was a captain of one of I don't know if you guys remember, but they had those like laser cut plaques of all
the old ships
of the old ships, and I guess someone
season
found
2, I think,
in season 2, before they
one of the first episodes. Yeah.
But in one of the close-ups of one, it's shown that she was the captain of, I don't remember which ship it was, but it was one of those mid-range cruisers or whatever, but everyone's like, yeah,
like how they, because I say you don't have it's funny. After 6 movies, 1.5 years of animated and 3 live action, don't know much about Uhura really. But like, there's not that much really, if we want to get down to it. But they're like, okay, singing, and she has her singing episodes. They're like, okay, we are trying here. So. Yeah, I like it.
I would say I like this portrayal of Uhura being a linguist more than the 2009 movies. And not that those aren't okay, but I feel like, and it's probably just because it's a movie versus a TV show as far as like minutes given to that scene, but I feel like it's way more interesting watching her break down a problem and solve it in this show versus in 2009, it's like she's like, no, that's second level Klingon. It's like, what? It's like, oh no, I speak it all 3 dialects. It's like you get one line, and that's to encompass her entire professional career. And it's like, okay.
I don't think speaking of Sexy Trek from earlier, Darren, I don't think you remember the scene where she can hear Kirk breathing under her bed. Because her ears are so good. So there's a lot established for her.
Okay.
All right. Well, we've been talking a while. Nothing wrong with that. But just briefly, any particular hopes or dreams for season 2? I mean, as we've said, they've kind of wrapped up all the threads. I mean, there is no other than the obvious
end here and be okay.
Other than number 1 going on trial, which I think we all agree will probably get wrapped up by episode 1. There is no like, what's going to happen with this problem because they wrapped everything up. I mean, other than we know Spock and T'Pring are going to obviously have some issue in the future. But anyway, Daniel, any hopes or dreams for season 2?
Not really. I don't really know what I would want to see at this point. It's fine if they just keep cruising and just do their thing, but I don't know. I feel like eventually they're going to keep pulling in some more TOS elements. So we'll probably get some other characters and stuff as well that we're not expecting to see.
Harry Mudd.
Yeah, exactly. Right. No. Would he be played by
Rain? I mean, I guess you have
Rain?
to. It's the same universe where he did it before. So. What about you, Darren? Any hopes or dreams for season 2, Strange New Worlds? A New Hope.
I mean, I can't reveal too much of my hopes because I know.
Have you seen it already?
Some, yeah.
Okay.
I've seen a few of the episodes, but no, I just want more of the same. I want more into these characters, and
is Harry Mudd in them? The episodes you saw?
No, but no. I think it's just let's just keep getting more of these great characters, and I think this show does a great job of nailing Star Trek. And I know that's a very difficult statement to make, but like it is. It's got the moral ambiguity and the the greater decision and the comparative, comparing to modern issues, and but it's also a fun space romp, and I think it hits the balance better than a lot of other Trek does, and it's great. I want more of it. I want 10 seasons of it, and until Pike, the Kirk ages enough where we're like, we have to bring Kirk in as the captain now, or he's going to look older than he did in TNG. Now we'll see how it goes.
Cool. I'm
looking forward to more.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
and I think. Sorry, did they greenlit a season 3 already? I feel like they did, but I'll have to look.
Well, you can Google while I'm talking. I mean, obviously, we didn't even talk about Lower Decks, but because we don't know, we'll wait for it and we'll enjoy it for those old scientists. But which I think it'll work very well because Strange Worlds is so fun. I don't think it'll be too crazy of a tone shift for those wild kids. After doing the fantasy episode, obviously they've sort of established we have no. And that's not a complaint again of like how crazy we can go. So I like, because again, I hope they keep the picking a character to tell a story approach, because we still have characters like we haven't really had a Nurse Chapel episode. I mean, we've had B stories, but we haven't really had her. We haven't had So I think if they keep doing that, that'll be cool. They're obviously genre stealing, and that's not a bad thing. It's very Community. Like, we're going to do the aliens episode. We're going to do the fantasy episode. We're going to do the,
when do we get a D&D episode then?
There you go. Or paintball.
Yep.
So I like it. And I think the only complaint is they only do 10 episodes. And so, I mean, it's both helps and hurts, because it's like, well, though I don't know, there's other seasons. But again, this is episodic. So I think that prevents us from going like, oh, our old complaints, there's the mystery, and they only got 10 episodes to solve it, and they don't do it till the last 2. I mean, it's episodic. I mean, again, every arc is finished by this one season, other than the one they created for themselves. So yeah, I think that's a big reaction to that. It's just episodic with little arcs that get completed. No big mysteries. There you go. Cool. All right. Well, until next week, I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Brew.
And I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on City Alpha 3.